My name is Ryan and I'm in recovery. Excuse the barnet, it's not long woken up. And me and Amy's dog, I don't think I've had Amy's dog on here before, but this is Bonnie. She's a Pomeranian. She's actually a rescue dog from China. You've probably seen my dog Ernie in my other videos, but me and my partner actually kind of split. I guess like kind of share custody of Ernie. We'll have him like a month on, month off. But yeah, this is Amy's dog Bonnie, so I get to look after her as well. She's got bad legs and we're going for a little walk around the ground, so I'm just carrying her. She only weighs 2 kilos. She's very, very small. I've been kind of I'm in an iron about this, what I'm going to talk about today, because like a lot of people have been asking about the relapse and kind of asking more specific details about it. And like, the thing for me is I find it really, I can like talk about things that have kind of happened in the past when they're kind of far away enough, if that makes sense. Like, you know, they're in the distance, they're not as raw. I can kind of talk about it, but to talk about the relapse that happened only a few weeks ago is like, I don't know, it's just, it still feels really raw, and like, I don't know, yeah, it's hard to speak about. But I just think a few people that are kind of in addiction or have relapsed recently have been kind of messaging me, so I just thought maybe it would serve as a benefit to some people if I was to speak about what happened. But yeah, just around the time when I relapsed, I did mention it before, but I've been kind of starting to get a couple of cravings. In that it was all around the time when England were playing in the Euros, and I'd been going to the pub a couple of times. I actually went to like a little after party after when England got knocked out, to a friend's house. It wasn't like a mad one, but you know, people were getting on it and stuff like that, and I was aware of it, but still chose to kind of put myself in that situation just because I guess I had a bit of FOMO. I didn't get on it then, but like, yeah, it was definitely kind of there in my awareness. And yeah, also in that week kind of leading up to it, I hadn't been to any meetings for a couple of weeks. I hadn't been journaling. I was in between therapists. All the kind of things that I had, like when I was in rehab, I had to kind of lay out, look at my barnet, is wild. In rehab, I kind of had to lay out an exit plan of like things that I was going to do as kind of like non-negotiables when I kind of went back into normal society. And yeah, meetings, therapy, journaling, keeping to a kind of regular schedule of sleeping and getting up were all kind of things that I'd promised myself and, you know, the people around me that I was going to stick to. And I was kind of just very slowly neglecting those things. It wasn't like I just suddenly stopped. It was just that they were just starting to slip. But because there was other things that were really positive, I don't know, I didn't really stop to kind of notice. Yeah, it was only kind of once I looked back after the relapse that I was really letting things slip, and I think the relapse itself was almost like a product of all them things slipping, like a result. And yeah, so the night when I did actually relapse, I had a few drinks again, and bear in mind this was like probably the third time that week I'd had some drinks. I wasn't getting like smashed, like really drunk, but you know, I think if you're in recovery, probably having beers for the third time in a week is probably not what you should be doing. And I'd actually just got home, and the kind of voice in my head was like, get a bag, get a bag, get a bag. And I kind of resisted it for a while. I actually went as far as to getting into bed, and was like, I'll just go to sleep and I'll wake up in the morning and I'll just be happy that I've not given into the temptation. But yeah, I don't know, I kind of just lied in bed, and then I did all the mental gymnastics of like, you know, one bag's not going to cause any harm, it'll be fine, no one has to know, all that kind of stuff. I can just carry on doing it, and then I'd be like, yeah, but if I do it, then I've ruined my recovery and I can't, you know, my whole life is a lie again. But I don't know, it was just like that kind of back and forth. And yeah, eventually the voice that was telling me to use won out. I'd also deleted all my numbers and stuff like that, but you know, the addict's brain has been resourceful as ever, and I kind of ended up logging onto iCloud and finding a phone number stored on my iCloud, getting the phone number, sorting it out, getting it delivered, just the one bag. And yeah, needless to say, I did that one bag pretty quick, and then ended up having like a proper bender, really. That kind of moment in its, that kind of period of using it itself was like, I don't know, 12 hours or something like that. It kind of took me through to the next afternoon. As it started to kind of like wear off, and it started to really dawn on me what I'd done. You know, the come down kind of kicked in. I just obviously felt horrific. I was like, oh, it's just horrible feeling. And I kind of decided I was going to have a bath to maybe just kind of soothe myself a little bit. So I ran a bath, and I kind of got into it when it was kind of like half filling up, and I just kind of sat in the bath. And then, you know, there's like, you know, when you cry, there's like crying, but then there's like kind of guttural crying when you almost like, I guess, sob, and it's like noisy. I did one of those sort of cries. And that was when I was kind of, I don't know, the devastation of what I'd done really kind of just hit me like a sucker punch. And I just sobbed in the bath, like really, really sobbed for ages. And was just like, just felt totally helpless, like I'd fucked it, I'd fucking ruined everything. Yeah, I was really devastated. And then I kind of got out the bath, and I just told Amy, texted Amy and told her, and was like, I've relapsed. I still hadn't slept at this point, bear in mind. So then she was like straight away, like, I'm just going to come over. And I was like, actually, I just need to sleep for a bit. Like, now that it's kind of worn off and I've had a bath and whatever, I just need to kind of sleep it off. And I spoke to a couple of people. Like, I spoke to a guy that I'm friendly with from rehab, who kind of gave me, like, we chatted on the phone for an hour, and he's kind of been in and out of rehab facilities for years, and has relapsed many times, and he's a really clever, really lovely, wise guy. So it was nice to kind of talk to him and get perspective. And kind of as I got into bed, I was like, right, it's just this once, it doesn't have to be more than this. But yeah, the problem was I kind of had a few days off. I had a few days kind of bouncing back there, and was thinking, oh, I'm over it. But it was almost like over them few days, yeah, I'd had that cry in the bath, but I just felt like even worse than like a few days afterwards. Almost like I was almost like maybe a bit in shock initially, and then it's the kind of tidal wave of the actual impact it had on me came, but in waves. And then, like, you know, over the 3 days, I just felt worse and worse and worse. Ended up using again. I still hadn't told my wider family either by this point. I'd only told Amy, and I said to her, I'll tell my family when I'm ready, but just let me tell them. But so bless Amy, she's kind of in limbo really at that point, because she knows what's happening, but she can't really tell anyone else, because I've asked her to wait for me to tell my family. So it's all just a bit shit for her. Yeah, anyway, so then I ended up kind of slipping straight back into that isolated, close the door, don't talk to anyone thing then for like a week. It was really messy, dark, burnt through loads, all my money. By this point, I then told my family and my dad and my sister and my mum and my wider family as well. It was just shit, and then people were kind of messaging me, trying to kind of ask if I'm okay and reassuring me, but I just felt so overwhelmed and sad that I just retreated into a hole. And it took me, a couple of weeks to kind of come back to normal, really. I still don't feel 100% now. I feel a lot better, but I just, to think that I had, I don't know. Yeah, it's just hard. I just feel a bit kind of, my foundations feel a bit unsteady. I've gone back to doing the things I'm meant to do. And yeah, as I mentioned in the last video, I'm not drinking alcohol now either. I just want to try everything out, give my recovery the best possible chance. And yeah, see where it takes me.